A real house in America for under $150,000. Not a fixer-upper that smells like regret and drywall dust. Not a foreclosure roulette wheel spinning between hope and heartbreak. Just a simple home with a yard, a porch, and enough quiet to remember what you were rushing for in the first place. While the headlines keep shouting about bidding wars, soaring mortgage rates, and billion-dollar landlords, something quieter has survived. In the spaces between interstates and office parks, a few small towns kept their pace. Steady, human, unbothered. Here, life didn't become a spreadsheet. It stayed a rhythm, a coffee cup on a porch rail, a neighbor waving from across the street, the sound of screen doors instead of car alarms. Because not everyone wants the hustle, some people want peace. A safe neighborhood where a kid can still ride a bike without being live-streamed. A grocery store where someone actually says, "How's your day going?" and means it. A life that fits, instead of one that has to be financed into exhaustion. So tonight we're visiting 7 real towns, verified by data but kept alive by heart, where affordability still breathes, where the cost of living hasn't outgrown the people who built the community, and where a mortgage payment still leaves room for a life. Stay with us. Because the town at number 1 might change how you define affordable, not as a number but as a feeling. And if you believe peace still deserves a place on the map, you can quietly subscribe. It's one small way of telling the algorithm that calm still matters. Now let's begin with number 7, and step into a slower, more human America. At number 7, we begin our journey in Gadsden, Alabama. A town where the morning mist moves as slowly as the Coosa River it rests upon. The day starts quietly here. Coffee brews in corner diners, fishermen cast before sunrise, and the sound of screen doors replaces the noise of alarms. It's a place that still believes life should fit inside a single breath. Gadsden is the kind of southern river town that remembers your name, even if you've only said it once. Its streets wake gently, brick shops, faded murals, and that warm, familiar feeling that time isn't an enemy here. If peace had an address, it might sit somewhere between the riverbank and Broad Street. The numbers paint a hopeful picture. A median home price of around $113,000, rents between $700 and $1,000, and a cost of living nearly 20% below the U.S. average. In a country where affordability feels like a rumor, Gadsden proves it's still real. For retirees, slower life seekers, or anyone craving dignity without debt, this is the kind of town that says, you're allowed to exhale now. The Coosa River winds through parks and trails where the pace of your walk becomes the pace of your thoughts. Locals gather at Nakalula Falls, where a waterfall tumbles like a hymn through rock and history. And strangers become neighbors by the second visit. There are trade-offs, of course. Fine dining is rare, nightlife even rarer. Some homes need a bit of care, a fresh coat of paint, or a porch repaired. But that's the kind of work that builds belonging, because in Gadsden, perfection isn't the goal. Peace is, and for around $113,000, you don't just buy a house, you buy the right to slow down. So as the diner bell rings and the river glimmers in early light, Gadsden reminds you of something simple. The good life isn't gone, it just moves somewhere quieter. At number 6, we find ourselves in El Dorado, Arkansas, a town where brick storefronts hold their color like old memories, and jazz still drifts from theater doors long after the crowd has gone home. Locals linger beneath oak trees downtown, swapping stories, sharing cobbler, and proving that good company is still the best kind of entertainment. Once known for its oil boom, El Dorado has quietly reinvented itself around something richer: art, community, and a pace that remembers weekends were made to be lived, not recovered from. It's a creative southern town that hums with music and murals instead of traffic. Here, the median home price sits near $135,000, with rents between $700 and $1,100, and a cost of living about 23% below the U.S. average. Those numbers don't just make life affordable, they make it breathable. You feel it in the details. The painted alleyways turned into open-air galleries, the restored Rialto Theater glowing at dusk, the farmers markets where a handshake still means something. This is a community that invests in its soul, not just its sidewalks. El Dorado is best for those who crave warmth without noise. Retirees, artists, and anyone who measures wealth in free evenings and friendly faces. There's local pride here, the kind that shows up at every festival and waves from every porch. Southern hospitality isn't performed, it's practiced. Of course, the trade-offs are real. The job market is smaller and weekdays can feel slow. But the quiet isn't empty. It's intentional. It gives you space to write, paint, walk, think, or simply exist without explanation. So when jazz notes rise through the evening air and the courthouse steps glow in lamplight, you might realize something rare. The golden promise of El Dorado was never about striking oil. It's about striking balance between cost and comfort, stillness and song, time and the freedom to enjoy it. Number 5 takes us to Marion, Indiana, a place that feels like a pause button on the noise of life. Tree-lined streets stretch beneath autumn canopies. Rust-red barns lean softly against the horizon. And the air carries that quiet, grounded calm that only the Midwest seems to know. It's the kind of town where a front porch light means come by, not stand back. Marion sits quietly in the heart of Indiana, a small city that still beats with old-fashioned decency. You can feel it in the way strangers nod as they pass, or how the local diner still serves coffee that tastes like morning should. This isn't a place trying to reinvent itself. It's a place that knows what it is. The numbers tell a comforting story. A median home price around $140,000, rents between $700 and $1,000, and a cost of living about 27% below the national average. That means a modest salary here goes further, not towards status, but towards stability. And for many, that's worth more than any skyline. Marion's charm lives in its simplicity. You'll find trails that wind through quiet parks, little bookstores run by people who actually read, and neighbors who still shovel each other's driveways when winter shows up with its usual persistence. It's a slice of Americana that never got the memo to rush. For retirees, young families, or anyone looking to escape the financial squeeze of city life, Marion offers what so many towns lost: the space to live without strain. Kids ride their bikes down wide, peaceful streets. Adults pause to chat over fences. And when the snow falls in Barn, and yes, it does, the whole town seems to slow in unison, as if nature itself insists on rest. There are trade-offs, of course. The winters are real, on gloves, boots, the whole thing. And nightlife? Let's just say it ends early. But in return, you get something rare, a community that still knows your name, and a cost of living that leaves room for joy. So as the leaves crunch underfoot and the air smells faintly of wood smoke, Marion, Indiana reminds you that peace doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be yours. And here, it still can be. Number 4 brings us to Anniston, Alabama, where the foothills of the Appalachians meet the slow rhythm of southern calm. The sky here stretches wide and soft, the kind of blue that makes you breathe a little deeper without realizing why. At noon, church bells echo across town, and a breeze rolls through the pine trees like a hymn carried by the wind. Anniston isn't a place that performs. It's quietly beautiful, grounded, humble, and content to let the mountains do most of the talking. Nestled between Birmingham and Atlanta, it offers something that feels increasingly rare: space without isolation. The numbers are steady and kind. A median home price around $185,000, rent ranging from $800 to $1,200, and a cost of living roughly 18% below the national average. It's the kind of math that leaves room for peace of mind, and maybe a little porch furniture. Life in Anniston moves at the speed of nature. There's the Chief Ladiga Trail for cyclists and walkers, the Coldwater Mountain Trails for hikers, and views that make you forget how close the city really is. Locals often say you can live slow here without feeling left behind. And they're right. It's ideal for those who want a mountain scenery without mountain prices. For retirees, nature lovers, and anyone who craves space to think, Anniston is a place that offers calm without cutting you off from the world. You'll find neighbors who smile from porches, diners that still pour coffee refills without being asked, and evenings filled with the sound of cicadas more than cars. There are trade-offs, of course. You'll need a car for most errands, and fine dining is more of a weekend trip than a nightly habit. But the quiet here isn't emptiness, it's clarity. As the sun sets behind the ridges and the air turns gold, the front porch swings begin their gentle rhythm. It's not excitement that fills the air, it's something better: contentment. And in Anniston, Alabama, that's still affordable. Number 3 brings us to Johnstown, Pennsylvania, a valley town wrapped in the hum of history and the soft echo of church bells. Trains slide along the mountain's edge, brick buildings line narrow streets, and the air feels thick with stories, the kind told by people who've stayed. Here, the past doesn't weigh the town down, it gives it shape. Johnstown sits deep in the Allegheny Mountains, a place known for its steel town roots and Appalachian resilience. It's a community that's seen hard times and still greets you with warmth, humble, proud, and real. This isn't a glossy postcard town, it's a living one. The numbers tell a rare truth in modern America. A median home price around $100,000, rents between $650 and $950, and a cost of living roughly 25% below the U.S. average. It's one of the most affordable housing markets in the country, where owning a home isn't a dream. It's a weekend errand. Walk through downtown on a winter morning, and you'll pass a bakery window glowing against the snow, steam rising from coffee cups inside. People know each other's names, and the pace moves with the mountains. Steady, unhurried, content. The old Cambria ironwork still stands as a symbol of grit, while new murals and community gardens remind you that Johnstown never stopped creating. It's a haven for retirees, fixed-income residents, and anyone looking for mountain peace without the mountain price tag. There's space here, not just the physical kind, but emotional space. The kind that lets you start over quietly. Of course, life here has its trade-offs. Infrastructure shows its age, winters come with snow and stillness, and you'll want a warm coat and a reliable car. But the reward is simple and profound. A community that feels like it remembers you even if you've just arrived. As dust settles over the valley and the lights flicker on along Main Street, you can hear the faint echo of a train winding through the mountains. In that moment, Johnstown, Pennsylvania feels timeless. A gentle reminder that affordability can still come with soul. Number 2 takes us to Florence, Alabama, where the Tennessee River catches the sunset like it's in no hurry to let go. Music drifts through downtown streets, a soft blend of guitars, laughter, and the kind of welcome that feels personal. Even if you arrived last month, someone here already swears they've known you for years. Florence sits at the heart of the Shoals, that legendary pocket of North Alabama where creativity hums louder than traffic. It's where Southern charm meets artistic rhythm, and where front porches double as recording studios. There's a steady heartbeat here, a balance between peace and possibility. The numbers for a town this vibrant are refreshingly kind. A median home price near $215,000, rents between $900 and $1,300, and a cost of living 10 to 15% below the U.S. average. Not the cheapest on our list, but perhaps one of the richest in spirit. Florence wears its culture proudly. You'll find murals of legendary musicians, weekend markets under river oaks, and coffee shops that still double as songwriting corners. The University of North Alabama keeps the streets alive with youth and ideas, while the Shoals history, from Muscle Shoals Sound Studio to local festivals, gives the town a soundtrack that never really fades. It's ideal for retirees who want rhythm without chaos, or musicians who want community without the city grind. The downtown is walkable, dotted with boutique shops, art galleries, and enough small-town friendliness to make every errand feel like a visit. Of course, Florence isn't immune to its own success. Popularity brings rising prices, and summer humidity here doesn't ask permission. But those who stay, stay for the feeling, that rare blend of warmth and identity that can't be bought or built fast. As evening settles and the river glows gold under twilight, the sound of guitar strings hums softly through the air. You sip sweet tea, feel the slow comfort of southern dusk, and realize that in Florence, Alabama, the pace of life doesn't slow you down, it sets you free. Number 1 brings us to Hot Springs, Arkansas, a town that feels like it's been exhaling for 100 years. At sunrise, warm mineral steam drifts through the valley, wrapping the old bathhouses in a silvery glow. The mountains stand like quiet sentinels around the town, holding the stillness that modern life seems to have misplaced. Hot Springs is one of those rare places where wellness isn't a trend, it's a tradition. The natural springs that first drew people here in the 1800s still bubble beneath the earth, feeding the historic bathhouses that line Central Avenue like old souls in marble. Even the air feels slower, thick with pine, mineral warmth, and memory. For all its beauty, the numbers remain surprisingly gentle. A median home price near $230,000, rents between $900 and $1,400, and a cost of living around 9 to 12% below the U.S. average. That's almost unheard of for a town nestled inside a national park. Here, affordability doesn't come at the cost of wonder. The rhythm of life in Hot Springs flows somewhere between mountain quiet and weekend buzz. Hikers wander the forest trails that begin just blocks from downtown. Locals soak in century-old thermal pools while tourists stroll beneath vintage neon. And through it all, the town keeps its easy grace, equal parts spa retreat and small-town heart. It's ideal for retirees, nature seekers, and anyone craving a life that heals as it happens. There's history to explore, art to discover, and a community that values conversation more than competition. Evenings bring a hush, the kind that feels earned. Of course, there are trade-offs. Summer humidity can test your patience, and weekends bring a touch of tourist energy. But step outside on a weekday morning and you'll find what makes this place sacred, the simple act of stillness. Steam curls above stone pools at dawn, birds call through the pines. Your breath slows. And for a moment, you understand why people never really leave. Because here in Hot Springs, Arkansas, time doesn't rush, it rolls. Peace isn't the absence of sound. It's the moment you realize you finally fit inside your own life again. Sometimes the loudest thing in the world is a quiet morning with nowhere to be, and no one rushing you there. The towns we overlook, the ones without billboards or skylines, often hold the lives we spend years chasing. A porch light instead of headlights. A wave instead of a warning. So ask yourself, could you trade convenience for quiet? Or maybe trade noise for knowing your neighbors' names? From riverbanks to mountain foothills. From jazz festivals to rocking chair porches. These towns remind us of something tender and true. The American dream didn't vanish. It just moved somewhere quieter. Somewhere a porch light still means welcome. Somewhere peace isn't sold as a lifestyle brand. It's simply how people live. Not everyone wants skyscrapers and speed. Some of us want mornings that belong to us again. A home that doesn't demand every paycheck. And a view that reminds us how much beauty can fit inside a small-town street. Each of these places, from Gadsden's river calm to Hot Springs' healing steam, carries its own heartbeat. Together they whisper the same message. Life doesn't have to be loud to be full. Which town felt closest to home for you? Tell us in the comments. Your voice helps others find where they might belong. And if you value peace, purpose, and perspective, consider subscribing. We'll keep finding the corners of America where those things still live. Softly, proudly, and affordably. Until next time, stay curious and stay kind to the towns that still remember how to rest.